ArkhamDark is a variant of the ShadowDark tabletop role-playing game rules that lets players and game masters partake in paranormal investigations, likely regarding the entities of the Cthulhu mythos and other Lovecraftian horrors in a 1920s setting. Being a fan of both ShadowDark and Call of Cthulhu, I wanted to take a look to see how well they blend. I first heard of this game through Adrian at Dungeons & Dyslexia. I'll have a link in the description to his awesome channel where he covers more tabletop role-playing games than I could ever hope to. I'll also have links below to the Arcane Library, YouTube, and home pages, where you can, among other things, get the ShadowDark Quick Start rules for free. One of the first things the game does is break down the main differences between it and standard ShadowDark guidelines. Some changes are major, and some are significant philosophical deviations. For instance, in ArkhamDark, there is a greater emphasis on skill aptitude checks, which are core aspects of character classes. The use of specialized knowledge and abilities plays into the investigative aspect of the game. The character classes here are actually represented by professions, including, but not limited to, archaeologists, criminals, doctors, engineers, journalists, and spies. These professions are varied and generally fun, with some leaning more into pulpy action than others. All of them have their own skill sets, talents, and progression. As with ShadowDark, the professions have randomized progression tables. Weapon and armor tables are minimal, but appropriate for 1920s occult investigative adventuring. If you're looking for something more intricate or non-combat gear, you'll have to either modify it from ShadowDark or Call of Cthulhu rulebooks. Also of note, in the 1.6 version of ArkhamDark that I have, there are missing aspects of the item descriptions. This means certain qualities of weapons and armor are a matter of GM adjudication, or you'll have to import the gameplay aspects of these items from other games. One of the core changes from ShadowDark will be the inclusion of a sanity mechanic, but this will be familiar to anyone who has played Call of Cthulhu. In ArkhamDark, players have a sanity score equal to their wisdom score. When players have to make a sanity check when encountering supernatural terror or stressful situations, they make a wisdom check, with failure diminishing their sanity and causing adverse reactions with the possibility of temporary or permanent madness. Occult investigations are meant to test the mental resilience of the characters, so this aspect of the game is meant to supplant ShadowDark's thematic and gameplay focus on the perils of darkness. Because the characters can more easily mitigate the dangers represented by the dark through reliable light sources and the technological wonders present in the early 20th century, ArkhamDark instead focuses on the risk to physical and mental health that comes from investigating the supernatural and encountering cosmic horror. ArkhamDark does provide a more robust and varied era-specific downtime tables. In between adventures, characters can carouse, do research, engage in crimes, or do some therapeutic mental health activities, just to name a few options, each with their own potential benefits. This is an expansion I really enjoy. It adds a lot of variety and flavor, especially to an aspect of the game that isn't by default part of thrilling adventure. Magic in ArkhamDark is more like what we see in Call of Cthulhu, a dangerous, sanity-warping underpinning of reality that even when usable by players has adverse consequences. This system will be familiar and good for Lovecraftian horror enthusiasts and for fans of games with dark and dangerous magic. Players who enjoyed ShadowDark and its own brand of effective but potentially devastating magic will most likely be a bit disappointed, even if the rules for magic in ArkhamDark are totally in keeping with the traditions of occult investigations and cosmic horror. ShadowDark is flexible and easy to learn, so ArkhamDark can certainly work for anyone looking to introduce a gaming group already familiar with Dungeons & Dragons style tabletop role-playing games to an investigative game that still has plenty of action. I think it provides a solid fusion between streamlined old-school adventuring, horror, and investigation. It isn't perfect, but it is fun and has a low barrier for entry. But what do you, the audience at home, think? Are you familiar with either ArkhamDark or ShadowDark? Does it sound like a good entry point for investigative, occult detective tabletop role-playing games? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my peculiar notions. If you appreciate this channel and want to support it, you know what to do. You can also take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel of another YouTube creator you enjoy, or the algorithm will make sure you fail all of your sanity checks. Until next time, enjoy some good games, live, and be well.